AITA for confronting a rich kid's parents after their son bullied my child for months, and the school did absolutely nothing. Original post. Throwaway account for obvious reasons. Please be gentle, but I need to know if I'm the asshole here. I'm honestly shaking with anger and humiliation right now. My son, Leo, 12M, has been absolutely miserable since the beginning of the school year. The reason, one kid. Ethan, 12M. Ethan is the son of Richard and Cassandra Hayes, and when I say they are the family in our town, I mean it. Richard is a major donor to the school. The new library wing has a plaque with their name on it, for crying out loud. Cassandra is on every single fundraising committee. They are wealthy, influential, and frankly, untouchable. Leo and Ethan were casual friends last year, but something changed over the summer. When school started, Ethan started a campaign of what can only be called psychological warfare against Leo. It started small: exclusion from the group chat, accidental tripping in the hall, mocking Leo's worn-out sneakers compared to his new $200 ones. But it escalated. He started spreading rumors that Leo cheated on a test, totally false. Leo's a great student. He would organize group games at recess, and then right when Leo showed up, he'd loudly say, "Oh, sorry, Leo, we decided we don't want you to play." And the other kids would nervously laugh and scatter. It's been heartbreaking to watch my usually bubbly, confident kid turn into a shadow of himself, skipping lunch, inventing stomach aches to stay home, and crying himself to sleep. The worst incident was last Tuesday. They were in the locker room after gym. Ethan allegedly shoved Leo hard against the lockers, causing him to hit his head. Leo didn't need a doctor, thankfully, but he was bruised and extremely shaken. I went to the school, multiple times. First complaint, I emailed Leo's homeroom teacher. Her response: "Boys will be boys. Ethan is a natural leader. Sometimes kids get jealous. Maybe Leo needs to work on his social resilience." Social resilience? I almost lost it. Second complaint, I met with the guidance counselor. She listened politely, nodded a lot, and then said she'd monitor the situation. 2 days later, Leo saw her chatting and laughing with Cassandra Hayes at a school fundraiser planning meeting. Monitoring. Right. Third complaint, I went straight to Principal Thompson. He was incredibly dismissive. He said, "I spoke with Ethan. He said it was an accident, they were playing rough. It's hard to discipline one student based on another's word. We need definitive proof." When I brought up the pattern of behavior, he sighed and said, "Mrs. My last name, the Hayes family contributes a lot to this school. We have to be careful not to overreact to normal adolescent friction." That was the last straw. The principal literally admitted they were going easy on this kid because his family is rich and influential. My parental rage, the kind you read about in Greek myths, took over. Yesterday, I was picking Leo up. I saw Ethan and his mom, Cassandra, waiting outside the main entrance. My filter completely dissolved. I walked straight up to them. I didn't yell immediately, but my voice was tight and cold. I said, "Cassandra, we need to talk about your son's continuous bullying of my son, Leo." Cassandra, who always looks perfectly coiffed, gave me this patronizing, saccharine smile and said, "Oh, Mrs. My last name, I'm so sorry if the boys had a misunderstanding. Honestly, sometimes Leo seems a bit overly sensitive." That word, sensitive, just set me off. I raised my voice enough that several parents and teachers nearby turned to look. I pointed directly at Ethan, who looked momentarily stunned, which was satisfying, I won't lie, and said, "Your son is a malicious little bully, and you are a pathetic, negligent mother if you can't see the damage he is inflicting. You have raised a cruel child, and you hide behind your wealth while he terrorizes other kids." Ethan started crying instantly and ran to his mother. Cassandra's face went from pale to a dangerous shade of red. She didn't even argue, she just hissed, "You have no idea what you've just done," grabbed Ethan, and practically dragged him to her luxury SUV, leaving me standing there breathing hard. This morning, I got a call from Principal Thompson. He was furious. He said my behavior was unacceptable, hostile, and created a scene, and that I had violated the school's code of conduct for parent interaction. He said Cassandra Hayes had filed a formal complaint against me for harassment and emotional distress of a minor. He wants me to come in for a meeting tomorrow to discuss a potential ban from school grounds during pickup drop-off. My DH, bless his heart, is completely supportive. He said, "You did what I wish I had the guts to do. You protected our son when no one else would." But now I'm riddled with anxiety. Did I go too far? Should I have kept it private and tried to go over the principal's head instead? I was so loud, and I yelled in front of a bunch of people. I accused a child directly. AITA for confronting the bullies, mother so publicly and aggressively, after the school refused to intervene. TLDR, my son 12M was bullied by a rich, influential kid, 12M, for months. School did nothing because the bully's parents are major donors. I snapped and publicly yelled at the mother, calling her a negligent mother and her son a malicious little bully in front of other parents. Now I'm facing a ban from school property. AITA. Edit, wow, this blew up fast. Thank you all for the support. To clarify some points. DH's role, he's been trying too. He had a separate meeting with the principal a month ago. He was calmer than me but got the same boys will be boys BS. He told me to post this because he thinks I need objective feedback. Physical evidence. The bruise on Leo's head from the locker shove was noted by the school nurse, but Principal Thompson basically said, "It's minor, they were just tussling." We took photos, though, just in case. The kid's reaction, Ethan. A lot of you are asking if I regret yelling at the child. I genuinely don't know. Seeing him cry felt like a small, pathetic victory, but it also made me feel a tiny bit sick. I wasn't gentle. I guess I wanted him to feel just a fraction of the fear and humiliation Leo has been feeling. Does that make me a bad person? Maybe. But my priority was stopping the bullying and nothing else worked. I'm dreading this meeting tomorrow. Wish me luck. I'll update as soon as I can. Update 1. It's been 4 days since the original post. I'm exhausted. Thank you all for the incredible outpouring of support and tough love. I read every single comment, even the ones that called me YTA, and they definitely made me pause. The meeting with Principal Thompson, DH, Cassandra, and Richard Hayes was yesterday. It was horrific. It felt less like a resolution meeting and more like a public interrogation of me. The Hayes family came in with their lawyer. Yes, a lawyer. I nearly laughed, then almost cried. We didn't have one, we're just regular people. DH and I felt totally outmatched. The meeting started with Cassandra's performance. She was the picture of a concerned, heartbroken mother. She said my unprovoked, violent verbal attack had left Ethan traumatized and afraid to come to school. She painted me as an unhinged aggressor. Then Richard Hayes dropped the bomb. He didn't even address the bullying initially. He went straight into a counter-narrative. He presented what he called irrefutable evidence that Leo was actually the instigator. Exhibit A, he had a statement from another student whose father works for Richard. I found out later, saying Leo tripped and was caught by Ethan, but Leo pushed back. The principal accepted this statement as fact, despite Leo's existing bruise. Exhibit B, he presented a text message screenshot. It was a partial image of a group chat where Leo supposedly wrote something snarky about Ethan's clothes first, a week before the big rumor started. The context was missing. Leo insists the snarky comment was in response to a month of Ethan's continuous mockery, but the timestamp on the screenshot makes it look like Leo started it. Exhibit C, he had a note from one of the nearby teachers, one who seems to orbit the Hayes family, that simply described my outburst as a woman screaming uncontrollably at a child. Again, totally lacking context about the months of neglect. The principal was nodding along to all of it. He concluded the meeting by basically telling DH and me that while my concerns were initially valid, my reaction had poisoned the well and now called the entire story into question. He formally put a no-contact order on my record, banning me from any spontaneous interaction with the Hayes family and their son on school property. He threatened to call CPS if I continued to demonstrate erratic and aggressive behavior toward other students. CPS, I was stunned into silence. Leo is adamant that Ethan started everything. When I showed him the screenshot, he said, "Mom, that was in the chat where Ethan was calling me Hobo-Leo because of my shoes. I was fighting back." I believe him. I really, truly do. He's my kid. He's never been a liar. But the sheer level of preparation the Hayes family showed, The lawyer, the edited screenshots, the coerced witness statements. It's terrifying. They're protecting their image, and they don't care who they crush to do it. They have the resources to gaslight an entire school administration. I left the meeting feeling absolutely humiliated, defeated, and worst of all, doubtful. Not of Leo, but of my own judgment. Did I give them the perfect out? Did I make myself look so crazy that no one will believe the truth? My rage has now been replaced by a cold, calculating resolve. I want to fight back, but I don't know how. DH is now talking to his cousin, who is a paralegal, about what our legal options are regarding a hostile school environment. I feel like I'm sinking. I'm still leaning heavily on the NTA side for the original intent, protecting my son, but now I feel like I am ESH, everyone sucks here, for being so loud and uncontrolled. I gave the monster a weapon. What do I do now? Go to the school board? Go to the local media, like some of you suggested? Or just suck it up and tell Leo we have to switch schools, which feels like letting the bully win? TL, DR Update 1, had a formal meeting with the Hayes family, their lawyer, and the principal. The Hayes family had prepared a counter-narrative, presenting edited screenshots and coerced statements to frame my son as the instigator. The principal sided with them, gave me a formal no-contact order, and threatened CPS if I acted aggressively again. I'm heartbroken, defeated, but still angry. I believe my son, but the doubt is creeping in. Update 2. It's been 6 weeks since the last update. The initial fire in my gut has gone out, replaced by a hollow, persistent ache. I needed to wait to post this because I couldn't articulate the shame and the confusion until now. The immediate fallout was exactly what you all predicted. The school has been cold. The principal avoids me. The teachers are polite but distant. More devastatingly, the other parents have completely backed off. At school events, conversations stop when I approach. My reputation is shot. I'm the unhinged mom who screams at children. But the worst part is Leo. The bullying did stop after the meeting, mostly because Ethan now ignores Leo completely. That should have been the end of it, but it wasn't. Leo is now totally and completely isolated. The kids who used to be his friends, the ones who laughed nervously when Ethan excluded him, now treat Leo like he has the plague. He eats lunch alone. He comes straight home and goes to his room. He started getting headaches again. He says, "It was better when Ethan was just mean, Mom. Now I'm just invisible." We decided against the lawyer. The cost was prohibitive, and the paralegal cousin said we had virtually no legal ground without unedited evidence and a school board willing to challenge a major donor. We felt trapped. Then, about 2 weeks ago, something happened that shifted my entire reality. I was at the grocery store, and I ran into Sarah, the mother of another boy in Leo and Ethan's class. Sarah had been one of the parents who cut me off. She looked nervous but pulled me aside in the produce aisle. She looked me dead in the eye and said, "Look, I heard what happened. It's horrible, but you need to know something. Ethan is a jerk, yeah, but your kid is not a saint. They are all complicated, and honestly, they were both egging each other on for weeks before the big explosion. Leo can be a little sharp when he gets defensive." She told me that her son had shown her some of the group chat stuff, not just the one partial screenshot the Hayes family used, but the full, months-long thread. She said it was clear Ethan was cruel, but that Leo had also been sending a relentless stream of increasingly sarcastic, personal, and sometimes mean memes about Ethan's appearance and family over the past month. Leo wasn't a victim being terrorized, Sarah said. He was a kid who was pushed too far and then became a retaliation specialist. Her words hit me like a physical blow. I thanked her, but I was numb. That night, I did something I hate myself for. I checked Leo's phone. I didn't snoop deep into his personal texts, but I found the group chat archive. The one he insisted was just Ethan being mean. What I found was exactly what Sarah described. Ethan started the mockery. He was the AH 100%, but Leo got vicious. He used his smarts to deliver cutting, personalized insults that were far nastier than Ethan's simple, hoboleo jabs. He had made fun of Ethan's weight, called his mom a trophy wife in the chat, and had even fabricated a truly awful meme about Ethan's younger sister. The shove in the locker room, that happened immediately after Ethan saw Leo's latest, worst meme, which Leo admits he sent, but insisted was just a joke. The context the Hayes family provided was twisted, yes, but the fact that Leo was heavily engaged in the toxicity and often escalated it was undeniably true. My world crashed. My fierce, protective rage, it was built on a foundation of blind bias. I had believed my son was a passive victim, a porcelain doll being crushed by a bully. In reality, he was a hurt, angry kid who was fighting back with verbal savagery. All my righteous anger, my public outburst, the confrontation with the Hayes family, the belief that I was a lone warrior fighting for justice. It wasn't a fight for an innocent victim. It was an overreaction based on a false narrative told to me by my own defensive son. I realize now the Hayes family wasn't lying. They were presenting a carefully curated truth that shielded their son, just as I was protecting mine by believing his edited version of events. Ethan is still an AH, but Leo is not the innocent I made him out to be. The guilt is crushing me. I stood up in public and called another child a malicious bully and his mother negligent without having all the facts. I threatened a family with legal action and screamed at a child. I was blinded by maternal instinct and made myself look exactly like the unhinged mom they are now calling me. The question of AITA is no longer about the school or the Hayes family. It's about me. How do I fix this? My relationship with Leo is strained because I confronted him about the messages, and he feels betrayed that I checked his phone. I was so busy fighting a war with the wrong enemy that I didn't see the real problem. My kid is deeply unhappy, and he needs help with his anger and coping mechanisms. TLDR update 2. After weeks of silence and isolation for Leo, another parent revealed my son was also heavily involved in the back-and-forth toxicity, using cutting insults and memes to retaliate against the initial bullying. I checked my son's phone and confirmed he was not the passive victim he claimed to be, having escalated the situation significantly. My entire protective rage was based on a lie I unknowingly perpetuated. I'm utterly heartbroken, ashamed, and now realize I am the one who acted irrationally. Final update. It's been over 5 months now. Leo and I are in a very different place. I'm writing this final update to close the loop, apologize, and maybe offer a bit of perspective on what happens when parental bias takes over. First, to answer the question, YTA, a resounding, unequivocal YTA. My heart was in the right place, protecting my son, but my methods, the public confrontation, the screaming, the absolute certainty that my child was 100% innocent, were toxic, destructive, and ultimately profoundly wrong. I acted like the villain the Hayes family wanted me to be. The real work, addressing the core issue. After the gut-wrenching realization, update 2, DH and I sat Leo down. We admitted that checking his phone was a breach of trust, but we explained why we had to do it and what we found. Leo initially shut down, crying, yelling, saying we didn't love him. It was a terrible, painful few days. But he eventually started talking. The core issue wasn't the bullying itself. It was his overwhelming helplessness. Ethan's initial meanness made Leo feel small and powerless. He couldn't fight Ethan physically. Ethan is bigger, and the school wouldn't help. So Leo weaponized the only thing he could control, his sharp wit, turning it into incredibly hurtful personal attacks to feel like he was winning. We immediately got Leo into counseling. This was the single best decision we made. His therapist is wonderful. She's helping him deal with the emotions of being targeted and teaching him healthy, non-destructive ways to handle conflict and regain self-worth without resorting to cruelty. He's learning that the best way to fight a bully isn't to become one. The Hayes family and the apology. This was the hardest part. I owed them an apology, a genuine one. I drafted a short, concise, and professional email to the principal and the Hayes family. I didn't mince words, but I kept my emotion out of it. I publicly apologized for my hostile and unwarranted verbal outburst on school property. I admitted that, upon a fuller investigation of the facts, I realized that the situation was far more complex than I initially understood, and my son was an active participant in the escalating conflict. I reiterated that I believed the school failed both boys by letting the conflict simmer, but I took full responsibility for my own actions and the example I set. I confirmed that Leo was in counseling and that we were working on better conflict resolution. I got no response from the Hayes family. I wasn't surprised. I didn't do it for them, though. I did it for myself and for Leo. I needed to own my mistake and clear the air. Reflection on privilege and bias. This whole experience was a brutal lesson in how wealth and bias can distort reality, but also how parental blindness is the most powerful distortion of all. The Hayes family absolutely used their power and influence to manipulate the school and protect their son's image. That part of my original anger was correct. They are not saints, and their initial refusal to see their son's role in the mess was a huge part of the problem. But my blindness was equally destructive. I saw a rich bully and an innocent victim, and I stopped searching for the truth. My fierce love and protective instinct completely convinced me that my son was flawless in the situation. I created a narrative, the poor kid versus the rich kid, and fought to defend it, forgetting that my child is a complex human being, capable of both immense pain and deeply flawed reactions. I realize now that the rich parents' edited truth was simply a mirror of my own self-edited truth. They minimized their son's aggression. I minimized my son's retaliation. The only difference was that they had a lawyer and a donation plaque to back up their version. Where we are now. The school year is almost over. We are switching Leo to a different middle school for the next academic year. Not because we're running from the Hayes family, but because Leo needs a clean slate, away from the social isolation and the memory of this conflict. Leo is doing much better. He's still quiet, but he laughs more easily. We have a rule now, open communication, no matter how ashamed he feels. We've talked for hours about how difficult it is to be a kid, how easy it is to lash out, and how my own actions showed him the wrong way to handle anger. We are healing. Thank you, Reddit, for the initial fire, the necessary reality check, and the space to finally, painfully, realize I was wrong. The initial NTA votes felt great, but the difficult ESH and YTA comments were the ones that made me finally dig for the truth. I'm humbled. I'm sad for the time I wasted being angry at the wrong things, and I'm hopeful for the future.